Gabriela, I wanted to open the floor for you to introduce yourself and then tell us a little bit about your background. Why did you choose FIU? Why did you choose MIB? And then when did you start the program? When did you graduate from the program?
Hi, everyone. Excited to be here with all of you today. So my background, from a personal perspective, I'm originally from Nicaragua, Managua, Nicaragua, Central America. Moved to the US around the age of 16, 17, I want to say, if my memory doesn't fail me. Um, did all of my college life in the US, business oriented. Then decided to pursue my master's degree back in 2019. I did the 12-month program. So I'm a COVID graduate. I graduated in the middle of COVID virtually. Why FIU? I had already started my career at Visa. So when I moved to the US, I started working at Visa. Um, I was really looking for a program that would give me the flexibility to continue developing my career as an employee. But they would also give me the skills and the necessary knowledge that I needed in order to be successful in my career. And that's exactly what I found on the MIB program with FIU. As I started having conversations and understanding a little bit more what the program was about, it was a great fit for me because it would give me the real life tools, scenarios, examples that I was living parallel in my real life career per se. So that's like the reason why. I'm a mom of two, so I also wanted that flexibility where I could have like time with my family, continue developing my career, and obtaining a master's degree was a very personal goal that I had. So FIU gave me all of that in the program. And I can tell you it was a great experience.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Gabriela. And I know you mentioned you were an international student. I know we have some international students in the audience. We have a lot of international students in their program. So definitely, how do you think by being an international student, what influenced to make your decision to come here to the US and complete your education here with us?
It was a personal goal that I had since I was a little girl. I don't know if it influenced by my parents, to be very honest with you. But the program itself would give me the broader spectrum, right? Like, so in today's environment, like working for a corporation and wanting to work for a corporation as part of my career goals, coming to the US, doing my education in the US, and very focused in international business was going to give me that exposure and it was going to prepare me to work in that global environment. So that was the reasoning behind it.
Awesome. And what motivated you to pursue the Masters in International Business? Because we know we have a lot of programs at FIU, we have a lot of programs in different universities. So there's a lot of options out there, but why the international business programs? And then how do you know after finding out which program you want to do that it was the right program for you?
It was a decision made on that particular moment in time in my career. So as I said, I started working at Visa. I started working like on the contact center side of Visa. I was already moving into the more strategic and operation side of the business. That being said, my team expanded. I wasn't limited only to like the Miami office, so I'm based out of the Miami office. I was expanding my horizons to like different continents, different countries, different states within the US. So I had that aha moment when I realized that I really needed that skill if I wanted to be successful from an international business perspective, being more mindful of like cultural awareness. How do you involve everybody? How do I learn more about diversity and inclusion? How do I function and manage properly and effectively in an environment that it's not limited to what I'm used to knowing every day, right? Like, how do I adapt to different time zones? How do I take into consideration everything that's happening in the world in order to see how it's going to impact me and my team? That's how I got into the international business. I went in, I did the research of the degree, which all transparent to all of you. I went in last night and I'm like, let me see if they still have it published and you guys still have it published, like the programs, the classes that you're going to take, the required courses. I deep dived into those and then I realized, wait a minute, this is going to complement Not only the skills, so the I'm a strong believer that your hard skills, you will obtain them through your bachelor's degree. But the master's degree will really make use of that hard skill that you have from your bachelor's degree and prepare you with real life scenarios. That's where I went into the master's degree for international business.
Awesome. And I feel it's great that you mentioned that because I'm a graduate from the Masters in International Business program, and I completely agree with what you just said. I believe that this program was very transformational, at least for me. I don't know if you agree with that, but it was more developing your soft skills, developing who you are or who you want to be as a professional. And it was pretty much a before and after for me. I don't know if it happened to you as well.
It did. I actually I developed a certain discipline throughout the program. I was thinking about this and I'm like, okay, what changed in me? And in reality, beyond career, beyond skills, beyond what I learned from that classroom, there are certain classes that led me to develop specific discipline on my daily life. I graduated in 2020. 5 years later, I still have that. There was one particular course on geopolitics, and it really created in me the discipline of watching the news, reading what's going on, not like beyond my environment, right? Like from a global perspective, staying up to date on the latest business trends, staying up to date on the latest technology trends. That is something that I can guarantee you I was not doing before the program. Because of these curves, because of the requirements of the classes, I developed the discipline, and it's something that I use up to today, that it helps me with that. So definitely I can see the before and after, from that perspective, developing like a personal rhythm that I still maintain until today. And then from a soft skill perspective, I think you're right on point, right? So the master's degree is going to push you to come out of your comfort zone and think on real life examples. Like, so you're going to have the business cases. I remember having one particular course when the professor said, you're not going to spend the 8 weeks without speaking out. Like, you have to have an opinion. And that is something the master's degree gave me. Something that people don't know about me or don't realize is that I'm actually an introvert. It's very hard for me sometimes to do public speaking. And in the job that I have to do today, I am forced to constantly be giving presentation to bigger teams. I developed that skill through the master's degree. Nobody told me you have to speak, but they did give me the necessary assignments, and the setup of the classroom was in such a way that it forced me to develop that and to feel more comfortable and to like really have an opinion and verbalize that opinion.
Yeah, for sure. I still remember that like if it was yesterday, and I'm right there with you. I'm an introvert. I wasn't ready for the amount of public speaking that you had to do in this program, but precisely that's what made it so transformational. Because after I graduated from the program, towards the end of the courses, I was like, oh, another presentation? Good. I got this. I'm ready to do it. And it's also important to understand that you work with people from different backgrounds. So I also wanted to touch base now that you had chosen the international business program. How do you think this program exposed you to different cultures and global practices, and how important was this exposure for your personal and professional growth?
So I think it started with the classroom setup, to be very honest with you. Like as an international business student, everybody had a different background. It enriched me from that perspective. So not only how you're learning how to like manage teams and different places, not only you're learning how to create diverse teams, because it's not only going to teach you to manage, right? Like the more and the more you go into the international business, you're going to find yourself in the situation where you have to build that team. So it really taught me, okay, how to build a team that it's a diverse team, that it's really going to complement me on what I want to accomplish. But it's not only someone giving me the theory, it's me being forced to interact with people that have a completely different background with me through the different activities that the program offers you. So you really start exercising that muscle on hearing a different perspective, understanding where that person is coming from, how everybody's point of view and opinion is going to vary based on their background and their history. And it's something that in the international business world, you have to be okay with that. You have to learn how to navigate that. I think it's a very important skill that the program will give you, that you will need in your context in today's environment.
Yeah, and I think one of the words that I keep remembering from when I was in the program is cross-cultural teams. You are going to learn how to build your teams, as Gabriela mentioned, but you're also going to learn how to work with people from different backgrounds. Overall, the MIB program is built to be cross-cultural. So you're going to see people from Europe, from Asia, from Latin America. So that really expands your perspective. Also touching on what you mentioned earlier, everybody has a place to say their opinion, and listening to those opinions coming from different backgrounds, different cultures can really expand your perspective on what business is and then how other cultures think about certain topics. So those are that's one of the things I particularly enjoy the most about the program. And I think it's also for those students looking to understand how the courses are structured, how the program works. It's important for them to know that we have people from all over the world with different backgrounds, and then it's going to push you to really be able to develop those skills to work with anybody. Talking about skills, Gabriela, I also wanted to ask, what skills do you think are essential for the success in the international business field for those who are thinking about this program or for those who are in the program right now? And then how did the program help you develop those skills? I know you have mentioned working with people from different backgrounds, different cultures. You have mentioned voicing your opinion, the presentation skills, but what else do you think this program provided for you?
Definitely cross-cultural. So navigating the business environment with cross-cultural teams. I think that's key. And when I think about international business, I think it's a very important area in today's environment when you're ready to go out there and start your careers. I was listening to a conversation the past few days that it's like the change, it's here. Like we're not by ourselves. Like the change already happened. You will be in corporate environments where you're going to have to work with people that don't have the background that you have. And that it's a skill that I definitely, it was my before and after of the program. How do I take into consideration everybody's point of view? How do I create a strategy and a plan that takes into consideration not only my environment, but the environment of everybody that I'm touching upon? Because that's what international business is about, right? Like I could be today talking to somebody from the US, tomorrow I could be talking to somebody that is in Brazil. Their perspective is going to be completely different. Their needs are going to be completely different. As I mentioned at the beginning, it gave me the discipline to look at the information in a different lens. That is something that I got out of this program, and that it's key in the international business environment. Beyond knowing how to manage diverse teams, how to communicate effectively with different cultures, you also need to have the knowledge and the discipline to know what's happening around the world from an economic perspective. Because some of the decisions that you're going to be making, you need to take into consideration, and you need to understand what's happening on the other side of the globe. And that is something that is going to come in your day in, day out. And if you really go into the program thinking beyond the classroom, how can I apply what's being told to me in the classroom time for the remaining of my career? I would say that that's the highlight, right? Like, how do you create a rhythm where you can be in contact, in constant connection to what's happening in the world that can impact your future career or like whatever work you're doing at that particular moment?
Awesome. And I see also one of our current students posted in the chat that two skills they have learned currently by being on the program is compassion and emotional intelligence. I feel it relates to what you're touching on, like being aware of what's happening in the world. It doesn't only impacts your business, but it also impacts how people behave, whether that's your employees or your customers. So it's important to have that emotional intelligence. That's one of the most important skills that employers look for when they're searching for prospects. So I feel this program gives you a lot. And in terms of the curriculum, because I know you mentioned some of the courses and then how these courses have given you skills, how do you feel that the curriculum for the program prepare you for the global business environment? And were there any specific courses or projects that you remember impacted your learning throughout this program? Just to remind everybody, this program is 10 courses. So it's not a lot of courses, but still, it's a fast-paced program, a one-year program. So how did those courses or how the structure of the curriculum impacted your learning?
So I think it's important what you called out, that it's a fast-paced program. And I think it's amazing because you're getting a taste of what the real life is out there, right? Like you're gonna be dealing with short deadlines, you're gonna be expected to deliver it. And I think that it's something that it's made very clear from day one in the program. And it's great. It's great because that's what you're going to be walking into. On an international business environment, you're going to be working with different time zones. So when you're sleeping, some people around the world are thinking and are sending you emails and are sending you requests. So working on a fast pace, it's definitely like what you're going to be going towards. My favorite course of the one that created the highest impact of me, it's the global trends. I think it's global mega trends in geopolitics. Like I said, never been the most disciplined person in trying to understand from an economic and business perspective what's happening around the world. But the way that the class was set up, it really forced me to create that discipline, something that I still hold until today. And it helps me a lot in my day-to-day activities. So that is definitely one. And the other one, it's like me being in the strategy and operations area. There was one particular course around like global strategy and business models, I think it's called. That one really gets you thinking on how to create a strategy that fits everyone, right? Like a lot of cultural awareness on like, hey, this is what we have to do. This is our starting point from a strategy perspective. If I would have to call two of them, those would be the ones that I will call down. The entire program is great though. Like it really gives you the real like examples and the use cases and the scenarios that you're going to be living and breathing on a daily basis once you go and start on your careers.
Awesome. And Gabriela, now that you're in the program, that you have this knowledge, how do you feel this impacted your ability to be able to advance at Visa? Were you working at Visa when you were completing the program? Did you start it after you graduated? If you can tell us a little bit about that process.
So yes, I was already working at Visa. There was definitely a before and after when I completed the program, because as I mentioned, beyond the prescripted information that you're going to receive, the way that the program is structured, it really helped me come out of my shell, in the sense of it equipped me with the necessary tools of saying, you know what, I can do this. Like I do have the necessary tools and I do have the necessary knowledge and discipline to go out and pursue a position that's going to put me at a higher spotlight from a global perspective. So when I was actually moved in first global role with the company, and I felt much more confident because things started making sense, right? Like as people would tell me like, hey, how do you create a strategy? You need to make sure that you take into consideration what's happening in the regions, in the markets that you're covering. I already got that from the master's degree. So yes, I was working in the company already, but definitely gave me that comfort and it equipped me with that tools to really say, I can put myself in front of an interview. I got this, I can do it, I'm ready.
Awesome. And then besides getting your master's degree, what other steps do you take in order to make sure you advance your career at Visa?
I am a strong believer that everybody owns their career. So leading a strategy and operations team, I work with a lot of data. So data, it's my passion. I am a strong believer the numbers don't have emotions, and it's part of what my teams have to do. Like, we need to speak in numbers. And I did, because I was a COVID student, like I said, I didn't have the amazing opportunity that probably this group will have of taking the international trip. That was a personal decision of mine when COVID was starting. I took advantage of that time though, and I took other courses that FIU offers, by the way, around data visualization and data analytics. I took the course that it deep dive into Tableau developer, and that's how I got my first global role. So right after I completed that course, I went in and I took my first global role. And I guess where I'm trying to get at is, once you have a plan, and I know there's not easy formula for this, right? Like, but once you have a plan and you say, hey, this is the field that I want to go into, don't only limit yourself to your required courses. Like, there's amazing opportunities out there. I did it. I even took a marketing class with FIU that nobody told me I had to, but guess what? I can put together beautiful PowerPoint presentations, and I'm pretty confident on that because I really took advantage, like for those, I want to say they're called elective courses, and I did strategically pick my elective courses on things that will complement my career growth, that it will help me like and position me in a better place as I was like knocking on doors and looking for my next opportunity.
That's amazing. And I think that it is an inspiration to see how your growth and your career just took off after you started the program and helping you with the skills that you gain throughout the program. But also I wanted to ask, because networking is very important when you're trying to go into the market, when you're trying to advance your career. So how do you feel the program helped you expand your professional network or maybe build it if you didn't have one already?
I can tell you until today, we still have a group chat with our cohort. And definitely yes. Like you need to put yourself out there, right? Like you need to not be shy about connecting with people. So this program will give you the opportunity of having long-lasting relationships as well, because you're going to be with the same people, right? Like for the period of time that you're going to be in the program. Ultra, like, very honest with all of you, like they're part of my network today. Some of them, I even have them on my personal social media account. Even in my case, whenever I am recruiting someone for my direct team, or one of my peers is looking at someone from like their team, sometimes I go back to that MIB cohort chat and I see like, hey, I remember this person being really good at this. Maybe they're a good fit for us. Maybe they're looking for something. So don't be afraid of putting yourself out there, of like really building that relationship when you're like on break time. Like, just walk to the other side and introduce yourself to someone, like talk about your interests, like what is it that you're doing today. um Network, it's key, not like it's a key foundation that everybody will need to continue developing your careers. um if you're like me, that you have a hard time like public speaking, or it's starting that conversation, I can tell you, start practicing within your classes. You're going to have professors that are really going to ask for your opinion. Raise your hand, just put your opinion out there, and you'll see like the more you do it, that more natural it becomes, and you're just going to start noticing your network will grow, 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 and grow. However, though, something that I always like to point out, it's good to have a big network, but you need to maintain it, right? Like, so relationships are like plants. If you don't water them, they will die. So as your network is growing, just make sure that you're also using that time and allocating that time to continue feeding that network, because like the globe goes around every day, and you never know, like that might be your next opportunity, or maybe you might become somebody else's next opportunity.
Yeah, and I think it's important to also point out that when you work with a lot of international students, they move around. Some of them go back to their home countries, some of them might stay here in the United States. So if you're working in a company, let's say such as Visa, that have operations in different countries, it's always good to know somebody because they might be more familiarized, they might have more information. Let's say you are working with a business and you're trying to penetrate that market, that could help you in the long term. Maybe also you're looking to advance your career, maybe have a change of career. It's always important to maintain that network and remember that just enjoy the process because even though you're thinking about professional growth, it's also important to just enjoy the process. It goes by very quick. It's very fast paced. You blink and it's already a year, you're at commencement. So just make sure to enjoy the process, make friends, and then stay connected with them. But I also wanted to go back a little bit to the fast-paced part. I know that you have a senior role currently at Visa. So can you tell us about a little bit about your day-to-day and then what's the most exciting part about what you do now?
My day-to-day changes a lot on a daily basis. So I lead the business strategy and operations team for the North America region in client services within Visa. And that's a very long name for everything I do. If I would have to simplify it, you can think of it in two parts. We do strategy. So we are responsible in making sure that we have an aligned and well executed strategy, which is our long-term goals. We do operations, which is our day-to-day activities that involves performance management, communications, events, you name it, everything. We wear many, many hats. I love it because it makes it very dynamic. I spend most of my day in meetings, but they're not static meetings. Like I can be having a conversation about a problem that we're having on a project, and then my next meeting it's about the next event that we're gonna be having. So it makes it very dynamic. What I enjoy the most, it's my team. I consider myself a huge people person. I enjoy spending time with people. I am a advocate in professional development. So I really like to spend time with my team, pushing them and thinking through what's next for them. Not because I want them to leave, but I'm a strong believer on that. And I have a multicultural team. So I get to learn a lot from them. They're all in different time zones. Not all of them are with me in Miami. So I have some people on the West Coast. I have some people that are mountain time. So I really have to adapt to like their schedules, their needs, just like they do with me. And that's the one that I'm the most passionate about, like really listening to people. So something that I always tell my team is like, don't think that my answer is the answer. My answer is what I'm thinking at that particular moment in time. But the reason why I have created a diverse team is because I expect them to complement me and look at the areas that I'm not looking at. So I'm actually having my weekly team meeting right after this call, and that's the highlight of my week. Like I really like to spend the time with them brainstorming on like the situation that that it's happening, and it's just amazing when you put people with different perspective together, the thing you can accomplish. From an operational perspective, we do performance management. Like I said, I'm very passionate about numbers. I was a data analyst at some point in my career with Visa as well. So that's kind of like my go-to every time I do dashboards as a break. It's just who I am. It's part of me. But that's pretty much what my day to day looks like.
Very busy, very fast-paced for sure. I
Yeah.
agree.
Yes.
But it's always good because it keeps you on your toes and I guess you're never bored.
I'm never bored. Well, I don't think I don't think I would appreciate a position where I would get bored, to be very honest with you. It's part of my personality. And it's very dynamic. So I remember there is one a word that I learned during the master's degree that one of the professors showed us. It's we live in a VUCA world. Don't ask me what it stands for because I can't remember, but I know that it's a constant changing world, And honestly, that's how my days look like, right? Like I'm being pulled in different directions. But at the end of the day, I am confident that I have a team by my side that will complement me and will help me see aspects that I just might miss because I am human, just like everybody else.
Yes, and nobody's perfect, but as long as we try to do our best every day, I think that's what also helps create an impact. Now, talking about impact, do you recall any crucial moments throughout your career that help you get to where you are today?
Um, yes, there's a few of those. I call them my aha moments when I'm having conversations with people. Definitely the biggest aha moment that I had was when I realized I needed a mentor. So I am a strong believer that you need a mentor in your professional careers. And it could be by title, it could be because of the nature of the relationship. Um, and that was crucial when I realized that I'm like, wait a minute, I think I need somebody to advise me. So I do have a mentor, and it's someone that up until today, it's the person that I go to when I'm struggling to make a decision. And that was very crucial in my career because I realized that I didn't feel comfortable having uncomfortable conversations, which is something that you're always going to learn to have. So really having someone that you can bounce ideas against, and that will help you navigate, and that will give you their open and kind feedback, even if it's not what you were expecting to hear. It's okay and it's amazing. Um, so if I would think about a crucial moment, it's that one, like the moment that I realize, okay, I do need a mentor in my life. And I actually went to that person and I knocked on his door and I said, like, do you want to be my mentor? I think I need a mentor right now. And he said, like, oh, it would be my honor. Fast forward 5 years later, he continues being my mentor. He's the person that I go to. We were having a really good discussion yesterday about this, by the way. And he's the person that I know will give me he's open and kind feedback if he feels I'm not moving in the route that is best for me, best for the company, or best for the team as well. So that would be kind of like my call out.
That's amazing. That's great advice. And now that we're talking about advice and what helped you get to where you are, what advice would you give to our current students that are in the program or those who are looking into the program in order to be able to succeed, or what could help them make that decision of moving forward with the Masters of International Business?
I'll say be curious. Um, Today, like you're never gonna stop learning. Like even I remember as a kid, I would say like I want to graduate high school because I don't want to wake up early anymore.
This was the
Fun
second
fact, I
time,
wake up at 5 a.m. every
I'm on
day.
my way to work. I thought I was actually
So
coming late
continue
to
being
work though.
curious. You're all have an
I'm not
open
thinking about.
mind to constantly be learning. You're always gonna learn something. As you're thinking through this master's degree, don't only think about the hard skills that you're planning to get out. Take a moment to think about the soft skills and what advantage you can take from the program to develop that. What are your areas of improvement? Do a very conscious self-analysis of, okay, this is the areas that I really need to improve. And like I said, I'm a strong believer that you own your career. So don't expect anybody to come and tell you you have to learn this topic. But if you do that pre-work yourself and you're very conscious on what are your areas of development, I can guarantee you that any professor in the MIB program will support you and it will put you in a position where you can develop that skill along the journey of the program.
And I think that's very important because sometimes students don't realize how open professors can be. to mentor you while you're in the program precisely. So definitely make sure to connect with them. My experience as well was very good with professors. Myself and other students always reach out to them and let them know what their interest was. They also have a lot of experience in the international and business overall market. Years of work in the corporate world. So make sure to take advantage of that. If you're a current student or if you're a student who is starting this program soon, talk to your professors, connect with them. They're going to be part of your network for sure. They have a lot of knowledge and they know a lot of people too. So take as much advantage of that as you can. Gabriela, the knowledge and the advice that you have given us today is super valuable. I do want to give space to Lisette to share a little bit about the program for those prospect students, and then we're going to open the floor for questions. I see a couple in the chat, and then also whoever wants to raise their hand and or mute, you can always ask your questions as well, but let's just open the floor to Lisette so she can share a little more about the program requirements.
Okay, thank you. Let me see. Okay, so everyone can see the slide? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm gonna keep it brief. Basically, well, the Master of International Business is being offered for this upcoming fall, and we are receiving applications. Priority deadline for applications is June 1st. Especially for international students, because we need to do some additional paperwork for them. But for the rest of the students, if you are a domestic applicant, typically we expand that deadline to July 1st and then August 1st. So you will need to submit an application first. That's going to be your first step. Submit your online application. And we are going to need certain documents. First, you need your resume. We need a transcript of your bachelor's degree study. And if you studied outside of the United States, we're going to need also a copy of the bachelor's licentiate degree. We are going to need official transcripts from all the institutions that you attended. If you did an associate degree at Miami-Dade College and then the bachelor's at Florida Atlantic University, we need both. We will need a GPA of 3.0 or higher in your upper division coursework. And we are going to need a statement of purpose. Is an essay of 1 or 2 pages maximum, outlining why you want to pursue this program, why you think the Master of International Business is a good fit for you and you are a good fit for the program. The admissions video is a 5-minute video that you have to create in YouTube or Google Drive. And you're going to cover 4 points, basically, it's a video where you just have to look at the camera. You don't have to be overly creative because we want to see you looking to the camera all the time. Just tell us about yourself. So what's the journey? What's the story of the person? That's how we know why you would be interested in this program. More than what you can say in words, you tell the story of yourself and they can have a comprehension. So you tell us also why you think you are interested in the program, why at FIU, and your career goals, your plans for the next 5 to 10 years. And this last point is really important. It's last but not least. So if you studied in a country where English is not the official language, you may need English proficiency test results, such as TOEFL, IELTS, or Duolingo. The GMAT and GRE waivers are available. If you have a GPA of 3.25 or higher in a business major, you don't need it. If you have 2 years of work experience, regardless the field of the employment, you don't need it. And sometimes you can do an interview with Joyce here and the faculty director in case maybe if your GPA is below the 3.0 mark, you may make up with an interview. And then the tuition for the program. So the program will be offered in August, both online and in person. You can choose the format. So if you do it in person, you would come to campus. Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6 p.m. to 9:45 p.m. It's possible to work full time while you do MIB. And if you take the class online as a remote student, then it's asynchronous. You don't need to attend classes. You just take your online courses and you submit your assignments, but you would need to join us for the trip, for the international trip. So as you all probably know, because we spoke about it, MIB, one of the 10 courses that you have to complete is the mandatory trip. And if for some reason you're unable to do it, you will need to do an additional elective. But the trip is between 7 and 10 days, and you would all travel together, the whole cohort. Some faculty members and staff members will join you. And the purpose is that you learn from the experience of companies doing international trips in that country. So it's a really it's a unique thing of this program. So for Florida residents, the tuition is $33,000. And if you do the program online, regardless your residency status, you will pay also $33,000. For non-Florida residents doing the program in person, then the tuition fee is $36,600. Federal student aid is available. You can apply, and it typically covers so far it covers the 100% of the tuition. And we have a scholarship specific for this program. Is the High Potential Scholarship, which means once you have been admitted into the program, if you have a GPA of 3.4 or higher in your upper division coursework and 2 years of work experience, you are eligible. So you need to apply, submit an additional application for this scholarship. And if you decide to apply, you can just use this link, apply.mib.fiu.edu, or reach out to me for additional information. This is my phone number, and the best way to reach me is this email. You can either do phone calls or reach me via email. And I'm just going to post here for everyone. The link to the direct link to the application. So that will be all for now. If you have more questions about the admission process, just reach out to me directly and I respond in less than 24 hours. Thank you. And now we will have time for question and answer with Gabriela.
Yes, thank you, Lisette. So I do have a question in the chat from Rachel. She was asking regarding the comparison between the Master's in International Business to an MBA. Particularly, I manage both an MBA and in the International Business program. I like to tell my students that it depends on what you want to do. It depends what your goals are for the future. An MBA is a program that is more theory administration based focus. It does have a little bit of operation, but the Master's in International Business, I like to describe it as it's more about developing strategy, how to expand your business, how to develop your skills. So it's two completely different programs, although they're both focused in international business. At the end of the day, they're both good programs, but it's gonna come down to what you want to do in the future. I know, Gabriela, you mentioned you also have a data analytics background. So like, how will you compare that to the MIB now that you have both? And what you feel is the biggest difference too?
So it's a good question. I actually had that question before I enrolled in the MIB program. The way that I personally approached it in my career, I always knew I wanted to become a people leader. I knew that I didn't want to be an individual contributor for the rest of my career. And when I did the deep dive on the international business and the master's degree of the international business, I came to the conclusion, like a very personal conclusion, that the MIB was going to help me develop the soft skills that I needed to become a people leader in a multicultural environment. Because I am a very data-driven person and I am a strong believer in analytics, and that's my background, that was my soft spot. Whenever you tend to work a lot in data, people don't necessarily perceive you as a people person. But the international business program helped me develop that soft skill and that people skill on how to better communicate more effectively with teams, and multicultural teams in my case. And that's how my decision came down. So like you said, I think it all depends on what you want to do in your career. In my case, I always knew I wanted to lead teams, manage teams. So that's how I made the decision of the MIB.
Awesome. And then we have another question for another student. For those who maybe are currently doing a different field or they have a different focus within their background, do you think there are any points or advice that you can give them on how to take their career to a more international perspective, or how the MIB program helped them with that? I know we talk a lot about soft skills, but what do you think will be the key for them to be able to take their career to the next level and more internationally?
I want to say the moment that you start working in a corporation, you're going to start being exposed to international business. Like, corporations are expanding their footprints on a daily basis. Like, now you rarely are going to find a corporation that is only based out of a particular country. So I'll say, if as you're applying for your jobs, like your future role, if you really target companies that have a bigger footprint beyond that your area of residence, it's going to immediately start expanding your career into an international business focus. If you decide to take the program is going to prepare you on how to navigate that environment, right? Like, so it's going to give you the skills on what to look for. It's not going to give you the answers. It's not going to tell you, how do I talk to someone on this part of the world? But it's going to give you the skills and it's going to prepare you on what to look for as you're putting yourself out there and have a bigger exposure beyond what you're used to today.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that. And then I want to invite anybody who is still in the audience, feel free to raise your hand if you have any questions for Gabriela, or put your questions in the chat, and then I will let you know to unmute so you can ask the questions. So Alejandra, I see you raise your hand. Feel free to unmute and go ahead and ask.
Hi, hello everyone. Gabriela, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm from Nicaragua too. So, so my question is, and someone just asked about whenever you have a different background that you don't work with a lot of international businesses or clients in the course when this in the master's program, the cases that you review, are those part of your daily work? Like, would I be doing something about in my specific work, or is that something, or is it just globally cases from other companies?
Everything was global. Actually, I remember, like, there was one case that I still remember until today. We had to do a business study around IKEA. So on the program, you mean itself, like all of the case studies that we did, it was global. Everything was around like a global spectrum. So from there, you're gonna have the exposure to start having the visibility of what's happening in other environments, because they will, like, I can't remember the name of the class, but I remember the case study where they will give you a problem statement. The company was an international company. The problem statement was in a different country that they had a footprint on, and then we had to propose a solution to resolve it. So everything, all of the cases that we looked at, they were from like international companies.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? So far, I don't see any hand raised, or I don't see any other questions. Oh,
I do
Carolina,
have a
go ahead.
question. Yeah, do we have any information yet about when and where the international trip will be?
So that's something we determine for every cohort. We want to take into consideration each student background, because we don't want to go to a country where the student is originally from. We want to provide that experience for all. That's something new and something that they don't they haven't been exposed to. So once we have the cohort already confirmed for the program, usually, let's say you're going to be starting in the fall semester. If you decide to start in the fall, we also have a spring start for this program. At the beginning of fall, once we have a full list of students, we review our options. We also ask for students' opinions and interests. So where do you think it will be good to go? Where will you want to visit? Based on the international business environment, and then we make a decision from there. It's the program usually who makes the decision, but we also take into consideration students' interest. So the options that we have thought of and the options that students put on the table, we consider all of those. And then we tell you for the fall semester, students usually travel in the spring. So you will be traveling in the spring semester. We will tell you towards mid-fall what the location is, and then what the process is to start, because we will need your passport. So another important thing for the international trip that is required for the program, we include everything that is accommodation, company visits. We also include cultural activities because we want you to be exposed to the culture is a big part of how business is done in that country. So you will have a little bit of both academic and cultural activities as part of the itinerary. We try to do free days as well, so students have the opportunity to explore on their own. The only thing that is not included is meals and the flight for the international trip. The rest, the program covers. Usually breakfast is included as part of the hotel. The only thing students will have to cover is lunch and dinner, but we also usually have a welcome and a farewell dinner. So the international trip is a great opportunity. We don't have locations yet set because we go to different countries. From previous cohorts, we have recently gone to South Korea. So we have a group that just came back from the fall semester. For the fall semester, yeah. From South Korea, we went to Japan. We have been to Thailand, Ireland, Germany. I don't know if Gabriela, if you went to the international trip, what country did you visit? Let us know a little bit about that experience as well.
No, so I didn't have, I made the personal choice of not going. It was during COVID time. Our trip was scheduled to Vietnam. Then it was later on changed to India. But because of the situation we had at that moment, we were also given the option to take an elective course. So I went with the elective instead.
Awesome. But yeah, as you can see, we go to different places. We have different locations, but we want to make sure we know the student's background first because we don't want to take students to their home country.
Thank you.
Of course.
Hey, good afternoon. This is Viviana, and I do have a question in regards to the international trip. Had the great opportunity to travel to Qatar and the UAE, specifically Abu Dhabi and Dubai. And my background is in international business and trade from FAU Boca and business analysis from Nova Southeastern University. I currently live in Charlotte, North Carolina. And as I stated, my question will be about the trip. I understand that we don't know for sure exactly where the next trip will be. Any chance that we can revisit Qatar and Dubai? That was magnificent. The reason why I'm asking is because it's a magnificent international exposure. As probably, I'm not sure if everybody knows over here, but over 80% of the population in the Gulf countries are by foreigners, people from India, Pakistan, Asia, South America, Europe, Brits. So I believe personally, after doing all my research in my last trip, it was 2 weeks ago, it was just an opening experience for me, an eye-opening experience. And that's why I got so excited that I decided to reach out to you guys, Ms. Lisette in particular. And I said, I really want to join the International Business Master Program. Talked to my husband about it. He's a chiropractor, and he's like, my goodness, I think it will be great because they have the opportunity. Anybody can just go ahead and open a business overseas in the UAE as long as you follow all the protocol, obviously. And I said to him, if they are going to go again to Qatar and the UAE, specifically Dubai, I want to join the program because I think it will be a wonderful international business exposure. So once again, going back to my question, after all the explanation and background, any any big percentage that would I'm sorry, I'm outdoors some.
It's
It's
okay.
hard.
We got the question. Don't worry, Viviana. Thank you for sharing. So we did actually had a trip a couple years ago to the UAE. So we have visited those locations. I can confirm or deny anything. Like I can give you a high percentage because again, it depends on the students. It depends on the court situation too. What the market looks like in those countries. But we're open to any locations. We don't close ourselves to locations except for what's mandated through the State Department, because any travel that is done with students have to be approved by the university, has to be approved under regulations by the state. So if there's a country that it's advised do not travel, we can go there. But for the rest of the countries that we can travel to, we're always open to different locations. We're not close to anything, but I can tell you for like with security whether we're going to be going there soon because we're not sure. We just select that on a cohort basis. Of course. Any other questions? I think we have time for one more question. No? Okay, perfect. So thank you everybody who joined today. We appreciate your time and your consideration for being here. Thank you so much, Gabriela, for giving us the time to answer our questions today, for getting to meet our prospects and current students. Feel free to connect with us via LinkedIn. I know Gabriela has LinkedIn. I have LinkedIn myself. Just be patient with response times because sometimes we do receive a high influx of emails. If you're interested in the program, Lisette put her contact information on the chat. You can find it as well through our website, business.fiu.edu. Feel free to reach out to me. Feel free to reach out to Lisette. Again, I'm the program manager for the Masters in International Business program. Lisette is the recruiter for the program. Gabriela, any last words you want to give to students?
No, just thank you so much for having me. Like I said, guys, be curious, have a plan, do that self-analysis. It's really a great program to be on. It's as big as you want to make it, as little as you want to make it, but I can tell you, you're going to be given the tools and the resources that you need. So good luck to you all.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gabriela.
Bye.
Thank you.
Mm.
Bye.
Bye bye.